the far-left, Bush-hating New York Times has suddenly, well, it couldn't avoid it anymore, has suddenly run a front page above the fold story that, guess what? The surge is working in Iraq.
The people in Baghdad are living in walled enclaves, and it's a city divided. But it's a city at peace, at least for now. And if that continues into the spring of next year, that living in peace on a daily basis could go a long way toward changing the idea toward reconciliation among the minds of some of the people that live in that city.
Cancel that trip to Berkeley.
Can you imagine that? That's old bicycle boy Jack Cafferty.
Even he's flipped.
Even he has flipped. Could we walk down memory lane?
And what will our men and women in Iraq do, the ones who will truly live and die?
Bathtub boy, right? I haven't lost my sense of hearing, right?
Yeah, he's the last remaining holdout.
Bathtub, well, he will not go back. He can't. I've got too much stuff here. He can't go back. He now stands naked as the sportscaster in the deep end of the pool, way over his head.
They will try to seal up Sadr City and other parts of Baghdad in which the civil war is worst. Mr. Bush did not mention that while our people are trying to do that, the factions in the civil war will no longer have to focus on killing each other, but rather they can focus anew on killing our people. The plan fails militarily, the plan fails symbolically, the plan fails politically.
Plan doesn't fail.
He wanted it to.
He wanted it to fail so bad he could taste it.
Oh, poor guy.
Well, he's just a sportscaster. I mean, you spend your time doing highlights and three-point shots. You just don't know how to figure this stuff out with the kind of precision you need if you're going to demand the president resign.
Mr. Bush, this is madness. You have lost the military. You have lost the Congress to the Democrats. You have lost most of the Iraqis. You have lost many of the Republicans. You have lost our allies in this. You are losing the credibility not just of your presidency, sir, but more importantly, of your office itself. And most imperatively, you are guaranteeing that more American troops will be losing their lives and more families their loved ones. You are guaranteeing that. This becomes your legacy, sir. How many of those you addressed last night as your fellow citizens you just sent to their deaths?
To their deaths?
He has settled on the only solution all the true experts agree cannot possibly work. More American personnel in Iraq, not as trainers for Iraqi troops, but as part of some flabby, ill-defined plan for sacrifice.
This sportscaster, this reader of the teleprompter at halftime, showing highlights of people making great runs or great catches. This sportscaster dares to sit in judgment of a president making war decisions. Oh, how embarrassing.
Mr. Bush, your judgment about Iraq, and now about sacrifice, is at variance with your people's, to the point of delusion. Your most respected generals see no value in a surge. They could not possibly see it in this madness of sacrifice. The Iraq study group told you it would be a mistake. Perhaps dozens more have told you it would be a mistake. And you threw their wisdom back until you finally heard what you wanted to hear, like some child drawing straws and then saying, best 2 out of 3, best 3 out of 5, 100th one counts.
You had to work, jackass.
I mean, this guy is he performing Shakespeare or doing political commentary? And you threw their words back.
How about get it right?
How about stick with sports, brainless?
We will let our own people be killed for no good reason.
Wow.
We have now shown them that we will continue to do so. We have shown them our stupidity.
Speaking of stupidity, looking back on this collection, not of greatest hits, but absolute worst moments in political commentary, what can you say except the poor boy is just in so over his head? He must feel like he's drowning right now.
When General David Petraeus tried to begin his prepared remarks on Capitol Hill this afternoon, not even the microphones wanted to hear it.
Microphones don't work, so he says the microphones didn't want to hear it. What, is he worshiping rocks in the garden now? Do sticks and stones speak to him? Microphones pass him messages? He's now talking about the slime job he did on General Petraeus.
Him and MoveOn.org.
Who he called Petraeus. Well, it was MoveOn.org's idea Media Matters carried it, and he took it straight from Media Matters into the teleprompter, as he always does. And I hope, by the way, that he has noticed his hero, the guy who started Media Matters and Center for the American Progress, all of those things. George Soros, a 77-year-old billionaire, can't tear himself away from 20-year-old chicks.
Honey, gonna set my soul on fire.
Viva Viagra! The 20-year-olds will get smart, but the American people have to get smarter, because we've got this guy, Bathtub Boy, we've got this guy, a sportscaster, we've got this guy demanding the president resign, declare the war a failure, and now we look back and we have to say, what did he ever know? What was he doing except pulling this out of his navel and making it up?
Admiral William Fallon, chief of Central Command of CENTCOM, reportedly having derided General Petraeus as a sycophant during their first meeting in Baghdad last March.
Admiral Fallon denied it, and even if he had said it, it would now appear he would be the one that was wrong. But when it comes to wrong, there's really no matching up to Bathtub Boy, the sportscaster.
Everything you said about Iraq yesterday and everything you will say is a deception for the purpose of this one cynical, unacceptable, brutal goal, perpetuating this war indefinitely. War today, war tomorrow, war forever. And you are playing at it. Playing! A man with any self-respect, having inadvertently revealed such an evil secret, would have already resigned and fled the country. You have no remaining credibility about Iraq, sir.
If you had said things like that, wouldn't you feel silly?
Never mind.
Wouldn't you feel ignorant?
I'd feel like a traitor. That's what I'd feel like.
Stupid, a traitor. And most of all, nothing more than a poser. Look at the limb he's got himself out on now. The surge won't work. General Petraeus. Bush is evil. And guess what? Here it is working. I'm just asking people, look at who you're listening to for these opinions. And for God's sakes, look at their pedigree. Figure out if they should be giving opinions and if you should listen.
Fox News Talk.
Hey, Angry Rich, I can't help but look up at the one of the many television monitors in our state-of-the-art radio studio. And I noticed Bathtub Boy is not doing the big news in the New York Times that the surge is going well.
Not a word.
Would that have anything to do with the 5,000 incidents of him declaring the surge a failure?
Yes.
Declaring General Petraeus a traitor?
Why, you might ask, does George W. Bush hate the troops?
Demanding the president resign.
Well, Scott McClellan gave him a new narrative for the next 2 weeks.
I know.
John Gibson of Fixed News, today's worst person in the world.
Always striving to be the worst to Bathtub Boy,
You should crawl off into a hole and die.
but the best to you. John Gibson on Fox News Talk.